Okay, we should be live.
All right.
All right. Hello, Mortgage Loan Officer Network. It's Mr. Fisher, Mr. Queally on the East Coast. How you doing today, Patrick?
Everything is awesome, Mike. How's everything with
Wicked
you, man?
awesome.
Wicked awesome.
I love the East Coast. You guys just know how to do it right. So, all right. Well, I'm going to make sure that we're wicked awesome. I'm going to make sure that we're actually streaming live. I think we are.
Cool.
And these first minutes are sometimes awkward. Do you see us popped up here yet? Hopefully we're popped up. I think we are. All right, cool.
All right, let's do it.
Let's do it. So I had asked you to join us in Mortgage Loan Officer Network because I've been watching you for a couple years in your marketing and your business building, and I know that you originally came to this business in what I would call maybe a preferred route, a preferred method, where you were more in ops and in
Yeah.
underwriting, and you spent time being the educated geek that really knew how to
Yeah.
crush a loan and get it through without any documents. And I know we had a chance to work together for about a year, and I know you had the cleanest files of anybody I've ever seen, and the underwriters loved you. But I know you had to make that transition to the marketing and sales guy.
Yeah, man, it was not easy. So you're right. So I started off in the business in the back office, processing, underwriting, managing teams of processors and underwriters. Really cut my teeth in the business in a small community bank where, really had your hands on the file every step of the way. So slowly over time, I saw these loan officers that would come in, with like, I'm not even kidding, a shoebox full of paperwork, and here you go. And I was sort of the setup desk as well as processing and pre-processing underwriting. Had to figure out a way to put it all together based on the loan officer's notes. And finally, I said, well, damn it, I can do that, and I'm in the office putting the stuff together, and they're off on the golf course or the networking meeting, drinking beers, having a good time, or so I thought. And I said, well, damn it, that's easy. I can do that. So slowly, I made the transition. I was fortunate enough to have a real mentor in the business that helped me, and he ran the mortgage department for the bank I was working at, and he allowed me to transition from operations to sales. Now, coming at it from that side of the business, not having a sales background, I really had to dig in and rely on my product knowledge as a selling feature. Okay, so we're going to spend a little bit more time up front, but I'm telling you, your deal's going to come together. It's going to be spotless. We're not going to have any issues. We're going to get to the closing table, on time and with the right terms. So built my network. With really started out with family. So most of my family are in the trades, plumbers, plasters, electricians, carpenters. And at the time when I was making that transition, there were a lot of developments going on. It was the triple deckers, or the three families that were going through condo conversions. So sort of the first wave of condo conversions. So with the bank that I worked at, we had construction loans in our portfolio, as well as servicing those, as well as doing the end user loans, what is typically, what's popular in the secondary market now, for those end consumers buying those units and living in them. So I was able to work both sides of that on a commercial basis, help with those contractors to get the acquisition and rehab money to do the condo conversion, and then provide the financing for the end buyers. And that's really where I started my book of business, and it just grew from there. So I never really had a huge reliance on real estate agents. I really focused more on my own network, and built my business that way. And it's worked for me. It's not necessarily the typical route that a loan officer has, but that's worked for me.
So over the years, you've added the real estate side to it, and you've added
Sure.
marketing, and you've actually, in my opinion, and I've watched you a little bit, put as much energy into learning how to do that as you did learning how to underwrite loans. So you're
Yeah,
kind of a
exactly.
student, become a student of the marketing game.
Yeah, it is, because again, it's not something that necessarily comes all that natural to me. I guess. I guess over time it has become that. But when I first started out, man, I was really nervous, really unsure of myself in a sales role. I mean, I was young. I was probably in my, I don't know, mid-20s, late 20s when I moved over to start originating files. So still looked like, a young kid. But at that time I had, 8 or 9 years worth of mortgage experience under my belt, you know. Looks like we get another visitor in the
It's one of my good realtor partners. He just kind of
That's all
popped in, so,
right.
I'll get back with him in just a couple minutes.
That's cool.
Good.
So,
So
so, so over time, what I did was, as we said earlier before we went live here, I'm not necessarily a seminar junkie, but I certainly have attended a bunch of different seminars, a bunch of different coaching programs. And while I can't say all of them are 100% awesome or all of them 100% suck, there's a mix in each different program. And what I've done is taken the pieces from those programs that sort of sync with my personality, what I want to do, put it all together in a blender, and this is just how I run the business now. Take little bits and pieces and constantly learning and growing, attending different seminars. I mean, we all know the names, the people that are in the business. We travel in a lot of the same circles, so some of the local and regional guys, but some of the national guys too. So, I've been in Buffini's coaching. I've been in Joe Stump's coaching, and both of those guys, the foundation of their business is working by referral, which really resonated with me because, looking at my stats right now, my business is 84% is repeat clients and their referrals. Just a little bit more than 10% of my business is real estate agent referrals. And the other small percentage is other networking events and other gigs that that I go to. So the predominant source of business for me is my existing client database and their referrals. Now, that being said, I certainly want to grow the agent side of the business. There's plenty of potential there, but I do it maybe a little bit slower and a little bit more strategically than some other loan officers do. And that's neither good nor bad. It's just what I'm comfortable with.
awesome. So I had noticed that you've been doing something that was related to growing the real estate side of your business. I mean, you've been doing open house videos, and you've been kind of combining them with lead capture. And I mean, I know you've been using Listing Booster to do that.
Yep.
I thought that strategy was pretty cool. That was part of the reason I reached out to you. I said, this is a cool strategy because he's getting folks' attention. He's showing them the house. The house is sexier than the loan, that's for sure. But he's also got a strategy to get contact information out of it. And that was just kind of something that came from combined things that you'd learned. I mean, you went to Brian's event. I know
Exactly.
you and I and TJ worked together, and you took some different Facebook ad programs, and that piece that you put together was really cool. Can you explain to folks maybe how you did that?
Exactly. Yeah. So it was a lot of it was just trial and error, and none of it's revolutionary. It's not stuff that I necessarily came up with myself. I just put a couple of different pieces of the puzzle together to see what was going to work and what wasn't. And in some of the classes I teach for real estate agents now, I show the progression. Now, I certainly haven't perfected it, but it's a hell of a lot better now based on the trial and error than when it was when I first started. So I just combined a couple of different pieces of technology to come up with the results. And really what it boils down to is it's more of an agent attraction model rather than trying to chase agents. So it's just showing them what I can do, what's possible, and if you want to jump on the train with me and be part of that awesomeness, well then great. If not, hey, that's great too. So here's what the strategy is. So have to do a little bit of research, a little bit of homework first. I'll find out what agent wants to do, an open house live video, and figure out where that house is. And what I'll do is join as many of the local community, town, neighborhood Facebook groups that house is in and all of the surrounding communities. Then we'll go to the open house, try to get there a little bit early, 10, 15, 20 minutes before the open house actually starts, so we can get something done before there are any consumers walking through. And of course, that agent has to be signed up with Listing Booster. That's sort of the the magic, behind the scenes. So what I've experimented with, and this is sort of the net result in terms of what's producing the results. Take the Listing Booster URL and copy that and put that into the text of a Facebook post. Now, what will happen is a preview of the website is going to show up. What you want to do is delete that preview. Now, the link is still going to be there, but what happens is when you have that preview, you can't do a Facebook Live video and have a website preview in the same post. It appears that those are just, conflicting elements of a Facebook post. So I'll type out description of the property, tag the real estate agent, copy the URL for the single property website from Listing Booster, delete the website preview. Now, the text of that link still shows up in the description, and then just go live. So go live, quick little interview with the agent. So a tip is most agents are typically a little bit shy on Facebook Live. They haven't done a lot of it. They're not sure. So I just treat it like a short little interview. Hey, it's Patrick here. I'm here with agent XYZ at 123 Main Street. This looks like an awesome house. Agent X, tell us a little bit about this. How many bedrooms, how many baths? So real softball questions. Just make it easy for the agent so they're relaxed and comfortable. Walk around, do maybe a quick little tour of the property. So get a nice little video going. Narrate the whole video. Once it's done, so here's the cool part. Once it's done, and that Facebook Live video is on your Facebook wall, you can share it to a whole bunch of groups all at once, as opposed to a recorded video. So a recorded video, you have to go share it, find the place you want to share it, hit share, then go back to the video again, find the next place you want to post it to, and sort of share it one by one. On a Facebook Live video, when you hit the share button, underneath that the next sort of, not really a window, but the next section that opens up on your phone is a list of all the groups you're a member to. So you can just scroll through all in one shot and hit share, 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 share. So the results that I'm seeing is when I use that exact strategy, I might share it to 10, 15, 20, 30 different groups. So any particular town or community where I am is going to have 4 or 5 different Facebook groups for that town. And all the surrounding areas are also going to have a number of Facebook groups. So again, I'll join those before I go to the open house. I'll share it into all of those groups. And the net result is when I do those open house live videos, I'm seeing anywhere from 4,000 to 6,000 views on each one of those videos, which agents are just blown away because they're shocked if they get 20 or 30 views on a video they do. I show them we're getting 5,000 or 6,000 views. They're like, wow, they think that's so cool. But I guess maybe it is cool, but what's cooler is the fact that when people are clicking that link to find out more information about the property, get that single property website, virtual tour, using that Listing Booster link, they have to opt in. So we're generating several hundred opt-ins for that real estate agent every weekend. So not unusual.
That forced opt-in idea is brilliant. Just saying.
Exactly.
My opinion, they are just whoever the two guys were that came up with that idea, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, complete evil geniuses, complete masterminds. But the whole thing is because it's so so easy for someone to opt in. It's just continue with Facebook. They hit that button, completely, I guess, innocuous to the user. Yeah, I want to see the property. Okay, continue with Facebook. They don't realize that behind the scenes they are giving up their contact details. That's an opt-in for them. And the real estate agent and me as a sponsoring loan officer, we're capturing those details. So now we have a list to market to. And sort of the joke that I use is, he who dies with the biggest list wins. Yep. So we're just building the list. Okay.
So let me ask you this. Let's talk about that list real quick.
Yeah.
One of the biggest hurdles that Fisher and I have encountered over the last 2 years is people building this massive list from Listing Booster, and then being like, "Hey, I got 300 opt-ins. I should have like 100 loans right now." Type of thing. What are you doing?
New math. I don't think that word. That's something.
Right.
Yeah. that's going to be the Common Core stuff going on. I don't.
Right. Yeah. You have 300 free leads. 300 free email addresses, but it should definitely convert at 30%. But what? So how are you marketing today? You just get into your database. You send it into your real estate agents database. Kind of what's your approach to that?
Yeah, so it's got to be a multi-tiered approach. You can't just, just get the list and think that you're done. You got to drip on those people. So I teach the agents how to do some social stalking. So find that person that opted in, find
The
their
guy who
profile on
invented that
Facebook.
term must have been a genius.
Oh, exactly. I mean, there is so much genius floating around. It's unbelievable. So do some social stalking. Try to find out who that person is, who you have in common. Try to friend request them, maybe even get an introduction from the friends you have in common, and reach out to that person. Now, that's all well and good to say or to instruct a real estate agent to do, and it may work if they're getting a dozen or even 24 opt-ins, but at open house, when I'm putting together the strategy, not uncommon to get 150, 200, even 300 opt-ins in a weekend. I'm sorry, there's no way in hell that an agent's going to try and friend request all of those people and contact them, as much as I encourage it. So I still have to be behind the scenes, sort of pushing that train forward. So what do we do with it? So the agents that are smart and listen to the coaching and instructing we're giving them are reaching out to as many of those people as they can during social stalking, but at the very minimum, dropping them into a CRM and setting them up on a drip campaign. So, I mean, we know all that. I'm not here to sell any sort of, CRM or which one's better or which one's worse. There's a handful that integrate with Listing Booster. I'd say those are probably some of the better ones, just because it's so streamlined and hands-off. There's less that you actually need to do. So one of the agents that I work with has one of those systems, and rather than just a text, it's actually a sort of like a bomb video. It's a video drip series that she has going out. Some other agents are just setting them up in an email drip campaign, and I'm doing the same thing. I'm dripping on them as well. So I have a series of 18 emails that go out. It's a sequence, so it's over the course of 14, 15 weeks. So it's not exactly one a week. Just at the beginning, there's a couple that go out in a short sequence. If there's no response, no interaction at all, can't reach the person, they just go into one of the regular CRMs where we're going to drip on them forever until they opt out, they convert, or one of us dies.
So
It's awesome. I love it. So the campaign itself is the actual open house campaign, what you're doing here, that in itself is huge. But let's talk about that real quick. So I may have missed the beginning. I apologize if I did. Are you working a full open house with these agents when you do this, or are you just swinging by for 10 or 15 minutes, doing your video, and bouncing to the next one?
Depends on who the agent is.
Right.
So
if you
there
can
are
get
some
out of
agents
working the open house, you get out of working the open house.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I mean, but there are some benefits to working the open house too,
Right.
because you certainly do have the option to get some FaceTime with some consumers. If it is a busy open house, you become an even more valuable partner for that real estate agent. So obviously I'm not an agent, so I can't do any of the real estate agent stuff, but I can politely help direct people towards the sign-in, tell them, okay, the bedrooms are this side of the house, it's a full, finished basement, there are the stairs, just sort of direct traffic and help out. And I'm perfectly cool with that. Again, if it's a cool agent and someone that that I want to work with or work with regularly, I'm perfectly fine with that. But yeah, I mean, ideally, hey, I got young kids, I want to hang out with them on a Sunday too. I want to watch football, so I don't want to be at the open house all day Sunday. But for the right agent and the right house and the right kind of traffic coming through, I got no problem sitting there all day on a Sunday.
Yep.
I
And
will
honestly,
do it.
it's 2 hours. You can DVR your football game. You root for the Patriots, right? So all your stuff's prime time anyway. Yes.
sorry about Monday night, by the way.
Oh, brutal fish. But part of the Facebook sort of rules are as you guys know, you don't want to just be pumping out commercial after commercial after commercial, okay? So I deem those open house videos to be commercials, okay? It's real estate, mortgage, business type content. So I don't want to burn my audience, okay? So if I'm going to do an open house video with agents, I'm going to do 2, no more than 3, absolute 3 max on a Sunday. Again, because if I'm doing too many of them all at once, it's sort of like I'm spamming my audience, my friends list, and it loses the effectiveness. Okay, so that's why I'm not doing the shotgun approach here. We're trying to contact as many people or work with as many agents as possible. Rather, I'm going to select a few that want to employ this strategy, and the open houses will work. And I'm going to put as much push as I can behind it to generate as much engagement on that post for that agent as possible. So it's not visiting 20 different open houses. It's going to be 2, maybe 3 at the most.
Yep. No, I think that's a great point. And, all seriousness, I met with a couple agents today, taught a class. They're asking me about open houses, and I'm like, oh God, because I can tell you the last 6 open houses I've worked, I can count on one hand the amount of people we've had come through. But the cool thing about what you're doing is, yeah, it'd be great if a ton of people come through, but you're still leveraging that house to build an audience. As you said, you have an agent attraction model now that other agents are viewing this. They want to come and work with you. They want you to do the same thing. Perceptions being reality, they're seeing 5,000 views. They're like, holy crap, this guy's a genius. And all you're doing is just leveraging some technology that you already have.
It's almost like an exclusivity type thing where, hey, I can only accommodate 2 or 3 open houses a weekend. If you want to be part of it, you got to let me know by Wednesday or Thursday before the slots fill up. So it's not. I mean, I'm not trying to create a scarcity mindset, but it really is, because I don't want to do 5, 10 open houses. I have the ability to do that, but again, I'm just going to burn my audience, and it's I'm just going to be that commercial after commercial, and I don't want that. So I've worked the Facebook algorithm, as much as I can, to mix that content of non-business stuff with the real estate business stuff, just to keep people engaged and interacting.
Well, if anyone takes a look at your profile, they see it is a great balance of the two. A lot of entertaining stuff, a lot of entertaining pictures, you and your family type of thing. It's not mortgage, real estate.
Yeah. I mean, I've got people that I run into, face to face, out and about at events, and they tell me, yeah, I see your Facebook post, everything is great, it's funny, you're hilarious. And yeah, I mean, I've got kind of a quirky sense of humor. So, anybody that's watching the call, feel free, send me a friend request or just creep my profile. Just about everything I have there is public. You'll see sort of the mix of content that I have. And I've got somewhat of a posting schedule. So, it may look like I'm in Facebook all day, every day doing this stuff. I'm really not, So I've got a posting schedule and reminders that pop up. Okay, it's this time of day. I got to go post something for my audience. Okay, every month that motivational meme. I've got some funny pictures. I've got different themes. So Fish, we've talked about this before. The military mortgage boot camp stuff. Military Mortgage Monday. Every Monday is a military mortgage, VA loan type video post. Tuesdays, so I work with Sam Parker for credit repair. He does some great videos that he gives to the loan officers to use as social media content. I post that stuff on Tuesday. So every day I've got kind of a different theme that I'm putting out there. And for me, it just, I guess on the receiving end, someone looking at it, it looks creative and it's different. But for me, I don't want to say it's bland, but it's scheduled. I have a schedule and I stick to it so that I don't have to sit down behind my desk and say, all right, well, what the hell am I going to post about today? I just look at the schedule. Oh, today's Military Mortgage Monday. I'm going to post that VA post, or I'm going to post the credit tip, or whatever the theme for the day is. So I don't have to get writer's block or some sort of creative whatever. It's scheduled out for me ahead of time.
I love it. So, I mean, you mentioned a handful of things that I really think have made the difference for you? I mean, you can confirm, but the concept of showing agents how you do something, but also combining that with classes that you teach and events and chances, to meet them face to face, be an authority in front of the class, teaching them some of the stuff that you do, and making it, like you said, kind of exclusive. Like, this isn't for everybody in the world because I only have so much time, and I want to work with value partners that respect my time and not being rude about it, but being professional about it. So you set yourself up as somebody who knows a little bit more than the average bear about marketing, and then you prove it by showing them exactly what you can do. And then you follow up a little, you ask for the business, you sit down with them in a class, and then you also show them that, hey, there's much more to me than just this. I'm also very well versed in the guidelines.
It's sort of opposite to the way a lot of loan officers operate, in the sense that a lot of loan officers go out and they ask. They're asking for referrals. They're asking for the business before they have a relationship with that real estate agent. I approach it from a give first standpoint, where I'm teaching the social media classes. I'm helping them out with sort of brand awareness and capturing leads using Listing Booster. When I have a loan application in process, so one of the other things that I do that's a little bit different, when I have a loan application in process, I use that as a marketing platform, okay, to market to both agents on the transaction. Because most of my business is client referral and repeat clients, a lot of the transactions I work on are with agents I haven't worked with before. So without being rude about it, the reality of it is that loan file I have on my desk, I'm holding their paycheck hostage. Okay, they only get paid once that deal closes. So when I reach out to them, chances are they're going to answer the phone. They're going to respond to that email. They're going to respond to that text, because in their mind, sort of their paycheck hangs in the balance. Okay, I'm not trying to hold anything over their head, but once I really got in sync with that dynamic, it allowed me to leverage that loan file as a marketing platform. So I do weekly status updates on every single file I have in process out to the consumer as well as both agents. And I also have a series of milestone videos. So I call them evergreen videos. I use the same video over and over again on every file. So different milestones. Hey, we have your application, your appraisal is in, we're reviewed by underwriting, you're clear to close, post-closing. So every milestone is a different video that goes out to the borrowers as well as to the real estate agents. So it helps stand out as being a little bit different, but it also helps me gauge real estate agents. Number one, is it someone I want to do business with? Are they cool, or are they a complete jerk? Okay. If they're, TJ, you're laughing, but seriously, how many of us have pursued a business from a real estate agent only to find out once we're involved in a transaction with, they're a complete a-hole, and you just wish you never did business with them?
Okay? Oh yeah, dude, I'm laughing because I'm dealing with that now. I finally got a deal, an opportunity, and I'm sitting here slamming my head against the wall, being like, all the time and effort I put into getting this one crappy referral, and why did I do that? Because I could have gone out and found 5 people that want to work with me, versus this one person that I've been pursuing because they do 20, 25 million a year.
Yeah. So I look at it, the loan file that's in process, use that as a marketing platform to figure out if the real estate agent is someone who's nice, who's cool, someone I would want to do business with. But I'm also able to look up their production, see what kind of business they're doing. I don't necessarily qualify or disqualify someone just based on volume. It's really more attitude. Okay.
Right.
So if someone's newer, they haven't done a ton of business, but they got the right attitude, absolutely 100%. Let's figure out a way to help each other. And again, having that loan file in process gives me a little bit of leverage, because when I call or I need to interact with them, they're going to answer the phone. They're going to respond to the text message. So using the file in process as a marketing platform has won me so many new relationships, especially with listing agents. You guys would be shocked. When a new contract comes in, I reach out to the listing agent to introduce myself. And a lot of times even before that, when my client's making an offer, I'll call to vet that financing letter I provided with that offer to tell them, hey, it's legit. We have the tax returns, the bank statements, I've reviewed the credit report, we have all their docs. I need a P&S and appraisal, and we're pretty much clear to close. So I make that preemptive strike before, the real estate agent is really even reviewing those offers.
And one of the things that you do that you shared with me a couple years ago was you write that cover letter out to the listing agent as well with the offers, not just the standard pre-qualification, here's your loan amount, here's your base loan amount, here's your funding fee, etc. You write an actual letter, I want to say almost appealing to the listing agent of why this offer should be considered strongly.
Yeah, it's sort of a motivation letter. A lot of real estate agents will have the consumer write a motivation letter. So in my market, it's still insanely a seller's market. Okay, there's so many buyers out there, such a lack of inventory. We got to use every single piece to our advantage that we can to get the seller's attention, to get a shot at having that offer accepted. So yeah, having a cover letter, having the buyers write a motivation letter, picture of them and their family. I mean, anything to draw out the heartstrings of the seller, but also the real estate agent. So I'm using that transaction again as a marketing platform, and it's won me so many additional relationships. It's crazy, and I hope no one else in the Boston market is watching or listening to that. If you are, it doesn't work in Boston.
Right.
But no, but
nobody works that hard. Only you work that hard.
Yeah, I do it on every single file, and it's won me so many relationships, but it saves me time, like you were saying, TJ, saves me time for pursuing that agent that's just a complete jerk. Even if I was able to win some business, it's going to be a roller coaster disaster of a transaction that I'm just really not interested in.
Right.
Crazy.
So,
Awesome.
All right. Well, Fish, I like to, I always like my question that I ask everybody that join us here. So let me ask this, and then I'll be done. So, Patrick, what I ask everybody, and you've been on these before, you've seen these before. I send you up an Uber. I drive you down to Baltimore, drop you off. You don't know anyone here. What are you doing over the next 90 days to maintain your position as a top-performing loan officer?
First of all, I'm probably hiding my Gronk and Brady jerseys.
Yes, please
Put
do.
those in a safe place. That's step one. Probably going out to so if I don't have any contacts in the area, so I built my business from friends and family and stuff like that. But if I was to follow sort of the traditional loan officer model, I'm going to open houses. I'm following that listing booster strategy. Building an audience, joining local town community groups, going to an open house, introducing myself, saying, hey, Mr. or Miss Real Estate Agent, would you mind if I gave you some extra promotion here for your open house? Do a live video, share it in a couple of groups, try to convince that agent to sign up for Listing Booster so that we can capture those leads. That's definitely a strategy that I would employ. And again, it's not expensive. It just costs a little bit of time.
Right. And you go out there, you meet these agents. It's so easy with social media these days. You're providing something unique. That means on Monday and Tuesday, you're calling on that agent now. You have a contact. You spend your first month in Baltimore, we recommend Kevlar, just depending on where, but just like Detroit. So if we dropped you off in Detroit, right, Fish? But let's say you spend your first month here hitting open houses. You hit 20, 30, whatever the case is. You've now got 20 or 30 agents that you're calling on asking for business and maintaining your giver's game mentality and teaching a social media class and doing. And next thing you know, by month 3, you've got 4, 5, 6 contracts coming in from those 20 agents that you met with.
That's realistic, 100% possible, absolutely.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
And it's like giver's mentality. So you're going in there rather than, hey, do you have any referrals for me? Instead, it's, hey, let me show you a way to capture some more business. Let's see if we can get some more leads for you as the real estate agent. And sort of that, that giver's gain mentality. What's that Zig Ziglar quote? In order to get what you want, all you have to do is help enough other people get what they want. That's close enough. You know what I mean.
Yeah, and you know something, my man? That's a common theme that runs through these success series videos, isn't it, Fish? Like, it's a common theme. Whenever we ask someone, they've got a strategy or two that they're comfortable with that they stick to. They don't have 15 strategies. They got 1, 2, 3 that they're comfortable with, that they stick to. They leverage the contract to market the listing agent, as you're discussing, but they're always working, taking that giver's gain mentality, trying to help the agents improve their business somehow, some way. Lead gen, marketing, retention, perfect loan process, you name it. They're doing that, and that's how they're building their business. And it can be done quickly. It can be done really quickly with rolling your sleeves up, busting your ass, and getting to work.
Yeah, and that giver's gain mentality, you definitely stand out as being different. You're not the typical loan officer that's coming in just asking for referrals, asking for business. You're giving them some business. You're trying to help them grow their business. So number one, you're standing out as being different, and hopefully by different, you're perceived as being better. And that's that's how I approach it.
Yeah, love it, man. What do you got, Fish?
That's it, man. I'm a student of Patrick at this point. I mean, there's one point where I was teaching him stuff that heck I'm learning from him these days. So
well, keep an eye out for the coaching program that'll be released soon.
There you go.
I'm just kidding. I'm not doing coaching.
Make sure you have that social stalking video built out in there. So
yeah.
Well, I would say this. I think the fact that you've grabbed a cool piece of technology like Listing Booster, you've leveraged it with Facebook, you've built an audience, you're doing something with it, which is where I think a lot of folks fail, right, is that they have this stuff, but they don't necessarily do something with it. Fish and I were talking about this the other day with some newer loan officers, talking about newer LOs. It's you give them something and they do it. Right? And all of a sudden they have success. But it's because they're doing something, right? Yeah. Whether it's Listing Booster or making phone calls or hitting open houses or, going to broker opens or calling leads, they're taking action and they're doing something. A lot of us old dogs, we get stuck in our ways. We're like, that doesn't work. But then we see somebody go ahead and beat us because they're just working harder. So yeah. I think seeing you do that and consistently do that, incorporating something that you're comfortable with, is it's awesome. It's a great thing to say.
Yeah, keep your foot on the gas. You just need to implement it. Have a Listing Booster account or whatever technology, whatever piece you want to work with. Not going to do anything if it's just sitting there. And stop chasing the shiny objects. Pick a couple of strategies, learn them inside and out, do them and maximize them. And once you're utilizing those to the max potential, you want to add something else on top of that, then fine. But there's just too many, shiny bells and whistles and programs and strategies. You dabble a little bit of this, dabble a little bit of that, and next thing you know, you have a whole hell of a lot of nothing. Right. So pick one or two strategies and just stick with it, learn them inside and out, and maximize them.
Right. And if I could suggest two, it would be Leads Academy and MMBC. But I'm impartial about that. That's just
exactly
what I'm thinking about.
Hey, I can endorse both of those. I'm a user on both sides, so I'm in favor of that. You got my vote.
Yeah, so cool. All right, my man. Appreciate it. It's good catching up. Fish, go ahead. Wrap it up, brother.
All right, man. That's all I got. Take action, right? Imperfect action.
That's it. Absolutely.
Peace, guys.
All right. See you.